Good morning everyone, MMDA back on the road. Right now they're in Barangay Doña Imelda in Quezon City, and right now says I was speaking to this gentleman about a property that appears to extend over the sidewalk. You'll see there's a small amount of sidewalk, but you won't see much of it in this area, and obviously once you get this far the property is extended out. If you look, you'll see it's actually a very tall building, so you wouldn't think they'd need to extend over the sidewalk also. Next to the property is this one. You can see they've also fully obstructed the sidewalk with items that they're selling. Same with this one here, they've turned it into a eatery. I think the first thing they'll do is take down this roof that extends so far into the road. Right now the complaint of this gentleman is, why me, why not everyone else? But in fact the team want to clear the whole barangay. That's why they're here today, and you have to start somewhere. And over here they're knocking down this little extension. You can see it's pretty easy to deal with these small obstructions on the sidewalk. Anyone from the barangay with a sledgehammer could actually do this. And they're also bringing down this wall that's been built on the sidewalk. And as mentioned in previous videos, it's the barangay's job to come through and load up all this rubble and take it away. And over here they're issuing a ticket to this motorcycle rider. Unfortunately his back rider wasn't wearing a helmet. If you're wondering about all the parked vehicles you see, this is a one-side parking scheme, which means they are actually allowed to park here. Even now the gentleman's trying to convince them not to remove this roof that extends in the road. The thing to remember is this is not the first time they've been here. This is actually a follow-up operation, so everyone has already been told before. Most of the time what they say is, hey, just don't do it today, I will self-demolish. And of course it never happens. You see one of the teams spending so much time to carefully deconstruct this roof. Honestly, I wonder if it might be better just to smash it down, because they've got so much work to do. If they spend 30 minutes, 1 hour removing one small roof, it's very inefficient. This roof is now down to the bare frame and they're just working out what to do next. So even after 20 minutes you can see how the sidewalk is starting to reappear, although it will require some work to make it look more like a sidewalk and make it passable. And I don't know what they're going to do about this house here, because they're removing the roof that extends into the road. But what about this? It's a dead end to the sidewalk. There will be no happy ending in this area, because you can see the sidewalk is so inconsistent. And even with the team working here, it's not going to be perfect when they leave. Over here this gentleman's self-demolishing, so that saves the MMDA some work, as long as he really brings this whole thing down today. So the property owner did do a certain amount of work here, but then they said, hey, we don't really have any tools to do this, would you mind helping? The team said yes, no problem, and they've come in now with their sledgehammer and they're going to take this down. And of course, aside from the wooden structure, they'll also take down this extended wall. And what you notice if you look inside is it still has the original red sidewalk paint. So this was clearly a sidewalk before somebody extended over it. Some people came out from this property to complain about this pedicab blocking their gates, because they actually have cars coming in and out every day. They don't park on the street, obstructing the road. And well, the gentleman's come now to move it, but the reality is that maybe tomorrow he's just gonna park it here again. And they just stopped this motorcycle here, lady on the back without a helmet. And over here you'll see they're filling up bags with this sand and gravel. It's an obstruction in the road and they were told to remove it. I think it's going to take a long time with those small bags, but as long as they get it done. Over here someone is explaining to residents about how this gate should be pushed back in line with the wall, and the aircon unit that's obstructing the sidewalk should also be replaced, put somewhere else. And over here the team are looking at this UV Express. They're going to issue a ticket for illegal parking. And the back of this vehicle is open. You can see he's got his front bumper, even the steering wheel. So considering the steering wheel isn't attached, I'm guessing this vehicle has been here for a while. And over here they're looking at this tricycle parked on the sidewalk. It says PWD, but if you're a PWD you would probably understand the importance of keeping the sidewalk clear for pedestrians, and especially those with physical disabilities, for instance those in a wheelchair or the elderly. And on the other side of the street you can see the sidewalk is blocked by a pedicab and a tricycle. The problem with this tricycle is it doesn't have a license plate, and they're extremely lucky because the driver of this one just came back now, which means they can issue a ticket. No license. Oh my god. The bad news is that without a license plate and without a driver's license, it's impossible to ticket this vehicle. They can write it out to the chassis number, but as far as I know, from what I've heard, once the ticket goes to the office, they can't match it to the vehicle from the chassis number. In the past, what they would do with vehicles like this is impound them, tow them away, but they still don't have any tow trucks. It's been a few weeks now. The MMDA impound area is full, so there's really nothing they can do. They just asked the lady why she doesn't have a plate on the tricycle. She said she was caught in the past and the plate was confiscated. So this is really making a mockery of the law. No driver's license, no license plate. Most likely this isn't registered. And there's nothing they can do, absolutely nothing they can do. And over here they're asking the driver of this truck for his license, because look at this parking, fully obstructing the sidewalk, partially obstructing the road. And over here they're issuing tickets to these two vehicles for illegal parking. There is no one-side parking here according to the Barangay. And I don't know what's going on with this sidewalk, but I just put my foot here and it fell in a hole, and look, the hole is growing bigger. So I don't know what that's about. And over here one of the enforcers is issuing tickets to these 3 motorcycles parked on the sidewalk, and the same thing's happening to multiple motorcycles over here on the sidewalk. Most drivers have already come out, so they'll get the cheaper ticket of attended illegal parking, 1,000 peso. There are some sidewalk clearing teams that would confiscate the bicycle. Personally, I'm not a fan of that because they often get lost and then the owner can't claim them back. I think it's better to let the barangay confiscate it and hold it in their own space instead of having the MMDA clearing teams confiscate them. And over here they're issuing a ticket to this truck parked in the road. And the team do have a couple of QCPD following them around today to provide security, ensure peace and order. And over here you'll see this business is removing, I actually don't know what's in those yellow rolls, but whatever it is, they're removing it from the sidewalk. And the clearing team over here are going to take down this fence and probably knock down the little concrete wall also, so they can open up the sidewalk. The team used to have a reciprocating saw that was given by Bosch, but unfortunately it was taken by another team. And actually I think I need to speak to Bosch Philippines again, reach out to them and ask if they can give another one, because it would really make operations so much easier for these guys. They collected up the cacti, gave them back to the lady. Maybe they can replant them over here. This sidewalk here, it's open, no problem, and they have a little bit of space here in their garden, so they could put them there probably. This street here also has a one-side parking scheme, so those in the road won't have a problem, but those parked on the sidewalk obstructing it for pedestrians will be ticketed by the MMDA. And over here they're issuing a ticket to this motorcycle rider, both the driver and passenger no helmet. The barangay just led the team to another street, and I don't even know where they're going to start. Sidewalk, well, there's a little bit there, but then so many buildings have moved forward, so you'll see they're trying to take stuff in now to avoid confiscation. Lots of motorcycles and tricycles parked in the road. It's a bit of a mess, to be honest. Over here you'll see the sidewalk has actually become an eatery. It looks like they're being allowed to take it inside, so there's a good chance that that's just going to come back in an hour. They'll just put it back here, because if there's no penalty, if there's no confiscation, they're not going to take you seriously. It looks like there is some self-demolition going on, so at least something's happening even without the team being here. And I assume that's why all this wood is in the road, also self-demolition. They were looking at this wall here, but obviously they can't remove it because it's got lots of Meralco meters on there. So they're asking the barangay now to coordinate with Meralco, have those relocated, and then knock down this wall, because it's meant to be a sidewalk. You can actually see some of the sidewalk there and some of the sidewalk over there. And I'm not sure what's happened here, but further down the road, look at all of these plastic bottles and food containers and things like that. And there's so much oil on the floor also, which normally means one of two things. Either jeepneys are parking and staying here, maybe even overnight, sleeping here, or tricycles. And I'm not saying that's guaranteed, but usually that's the telltale signs. Lots of garbage on the street and lots of oil on the road. And they just stopped this motorcycle rider here without a helmet and driving in slippers. And they just flagged over this gentleman here, same reason, no helmet. You might have noticed today that I didn't give too much information about which streets the team are actually operating on. The reason is I had a Canon application running on my cell phone that is meant to track your GPS and then tie it in with the video later, and then I could put a little map on the screen to show you exactly where they are. Unfortunately, I just checked my phone to make sure it's still working, and it's not. So at some point the application must have closed and I won't be able to do what I had planned. So I'll have to do some more research about how to use the app without it closing in the background. Just stopped one more bike here, lady on the back without a helmet, unfortunately. Again, this road here has a one-side parking scheme, so none of these vehicles would be ticketed. And they just stopped this motorcycle rider here without a helmet and driving in slippers, which is a dress code violation. The team were about to move on to another barangay, but they saw this roof is still here. What happened earlier is the owner said, you go ahead and I will self-demolish this. What you may have noticed is that when the team got back here, some of the roofing had actually been reinstalled. So that doesn't look like someone who's going to self-demolish, that looks like someone who's going to rebuild. And that's why this time they're not doing it nicely, softly. They're just ripping it all down and confiscating everything. And out comes the hacksaw. This looks like one of the ones that was donated by KYK Tools. Again, another reminder that I really need to ask Bosch Philippines to give a reciprocating saw, an electric portable one. And of course, as mentioned, they will confiscate that roof, because if they don't, there's a high possibility it will be reinstalled. On the flip side, if you remember this one from earlier, they have self-demolished. Not only that, but they brought out drinks and ice for the guys to have a little refresher. The team just arrived in the next barangay for clearing. They'll do some coordination before they can start the operation and start apprehending people. If you look at all this rubble here, this actually used to be a barangay building and it's already been demolished, because of course there should be a sidewalk. And over here they're issuing a ticket to this one for parking on the sidewalk, and one more ticket being issued over here for the same reason, parking on the sidewalk. You'll see the sidewalk is very clearly defined, it's painted red so everyone will know. And what is this here? Is it a car or is it a plant? My goodness, what happened? How did this become a thing? There's no plate on it either. I wonder about conduction sticker, because they can't issue a ticket if there's no plate or sticker. There's no sticker on the front, but at the back here there is a conduction sticker, so they can issue a ticket to this. But what I'm worried about is maybe it's stolen, because why is it sitting here with flat tires, with plants growing out of it? Maybe, just maybe, this has been stolen and dumped here. What I've seen in the past, and what people have told me, is that often stolen cars are left in a certain area. It could be for 3 months, it could be for 3 years, and then if nobody touches the vehicle, that's the point they come back, they put new plates on it and start driving it. Anyway, they're just issuing tickets to these two vehicles now for illegal parking. And likewise, they're issuing a ticket to this one, parked on the sidewalk. And same thing over here, issuing a ticket to this vehicle parked on the sidewalk. Looks like there's no engine inside. And one more ticket being issued over here to this one, obviously obstructing what should be the sidewalk. When the owners of these cars get them back from repair, they're going to be surprised to find they've been ticketed, because what's happening is there's a repair shop inside here and they're using the road for their business, and all of the vehicles are now being ticketed, of course, for illegal parking. And take a look at this, sidewalk, sidewalk, sidewalk. Looks good, right? Until you get to this far, and then no more sidewalk. It's now a private garage for a parking. And just in front of that private garage, there's a basketball court installed on the sidewalk and in the road. It's quite common, not just in Quezon City, but many places. Oh, green eyes, wow. Oh, don't be scared, it's okay. Woke him up. Oh, there's more. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 cats sleeping here. I'm guessing someone's feeding them.